Our lives are on pause. Today is our 19th birthday. Today, I'm going to be talking about The Glory Part 2, specifically The Revenge of dong-eun. So be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and let's get into this because we have a lot to talk about. Alright, so The Glory Part 2 hit Netflix March 10th. I loved it so much. I'm gonna be rewatching Part 2 a lot of times, I can tell you right now. I love the revenge story, people. Love it. And especially the way it was done in this series. Now, let's deliver on that title and then we can talk about a lot more breakdown on the other end. So we're going to be talking about the revenge of dong-eun, and then that's what I'm going to be focusing on in the very beginning of this review. And then afterwards I can really talk with you guys and really, get comfortable and, sip tea and break down a lot of the romance and all the other side things that were happening or that happened in this series. So for me, there were 9 bullies, 9 specific people who dong-eun had grievances with and who she definitely had her revenge plan against. I'm going to be counting down, and I have my notes here, people, because you know that I had to put those in writing. We're going to be starting with Yeon-jin, who is the police officer. He's coming in at number 9. He was trying to escape once everything hit the fan, and his goons just killed him because they were trying to get into his safe. It was definitely greed. Okay, at number 8, we have Yeon-jin's mother. Now, she had a hand in not only getting dong-eun removed from school 18 years ago, but also in covering up Yeon-jin's killing of So-e and covering up a lot of things that Yeon-jin did throughout her life. So definitely an accomplice to an accomplice. Now she got sent to prison. Number 7, we have hye-jeong, who is one of the core 5, the friends who bullied and tortured dong-eun, and she got stabbed in the neck by Lee Sara. Coming in at number 6 was Lee Sara, one of the core 5 who tortured dong-eun back in high school. Sarah went to prison for stabbing hye-jeong and also for tax fraud and what was the last thing, for drugs. So she's probably getting multiple sentences. So I'm pretty sure she's gonna basically rot in prison. Coming in at number 5, we have Jung-moon, who is the teacher. You remember that guy that was slapping dong-eun like it was his birthright to do so, just really going to town and beating up this student for no goddamn reason except the fact that the bribes that he was collecting from the rich families would have stopped. Well, he was killed in part 1. He was killed by his son. So he had allergies and his son ordered a bunch of flowers and he basically died from an allergic reaction because he couldn't breathe and his son wouldn't give him his inhaler. Now number 4 is jae-jun, one of the core 5. He was never shown explicitly torturing dong-eun. There was only that one time where they made her stand in the rain and that was it. So she didn't even focus on him throughout this whole thing. But I think her train of thought moved to him 100% when she found out that So-e was 8 weeks pregnant or 6 weeks pregnant, one of them. She was pregnant and he was the father. So they had apparently raped this poor girl. Can you just imagine? Not only were they torturing these poor girls, but raping them and sexually abusing them. It was just a lot. So jae-jung, his punishment was he was blinded by hye-jeong, obviously orchestrated by dong-eun, and then killed by hye-jeong, Yeon-jin's now ex-husband. So nobody's hands are clean in this entire series, people. Nobody is clean. Coming in at number 3, we have myeong-o. Myeong-o was one of the worst of them all. He was one of the core 5 as well. But he took the torturing way too far. And he was also, I think, maybe 3 people away from being tortured himself because he was dirt poor as well. But how he kind of got into that group and stayed in the group and was their lapdog for ever. He was Jae-jung's driver and he also supplied Sarah with drugs. But his torture was that he was half beaten to death by Yeon-jin. and then finished off by Gyeon-ran. He was obviously, he's dead. He died. He was one of the people that got killed off. Number two was dong-eun's mother, because hers was, I think, one of the worst betrayals that dong-eun had to face. She was institutionalized, and of course, you guys all know who is number one, the queen bee herself, Park Yeon-jin. Yeon-jin, they destroyed her career. First of all, they took her daughter away. Her husband or ex-husband now took her daughter away, and then she went to prison for the murder of both myeong-o and So-yi. So there was justice for So-yi and justice for Dong-gu at the end of it. And honestly, I was upset at first. I was like, oh, I wish she died. But you know what? This was even more, I think, more of a punishment for her, because she went crazy in that prison. Like, she literally lost her mind, and she's probably going to be sent to an asylum eventually, because I think something snapped in there. And she was in the same prison as her mom, and her mom wouldn't even register that her daughter was there, which I think even led to the further breakdown of her daughter's mind. It was, honestly, it was poetic justice, if I've ever seen any. The revenge plot was so well done. It's like she put 18 years into this revenge of these 9 people. And honestly, she calculated for every single thing. Like, her whole life, her whole being was the death of these, or no, not the death, the punishment of these people. And I think she accomplished that, like, to the T. I think throughout the whole series, I was just wondering, like, what happens after she's done with her revenge? What then? Like, what now? What is she gonna do? Is she gonna be able to live her life? And one thing I loved most was that there was like a love story brewing between Yeo-jeong and Yeo-jeong and dong-eun. And I was like, oh my god, please let it be that after the revenge, they are able to find a life together. I mean, he has his own demons. He's trying to get his revenge on the man that killed his father, who's in prison. And I don't think that he will also be settled until he gets that revenge. And the way they played it out, Dong-eun's ultimate goal was to get her revenge and then end her life, because, like I said, what else is there after, if all your life this is all you've planned for, and then you get it comes to fruition? What next? And then she gets saved by Yo-jong's mother, because she's like, the mom was like, if you kill yourself, what happens to my son? He will definitely kill himself too, because the guy had fallen head over heels for Dong-eun. And their love story was it was twisted, but also very romantic. Like, I really liked the way he was around her, and I liked the way she became around him. And I love the way it totally ended in the end. So she goes away, she leaves him, and she's like, this will be our last interaction. She clears off, like, just done. Sends him a text too, which was so mean. Clears off for like 6 months, and I was like, Dong-eun, how could you? How could you? That's so terrible. I was like cursing her out. Which I shouldn't have. I should have waited, because obviously Dong-eun is smart and she knows what she's doing. But turns out she was saving money. She was working hard and putting money aside and getting connections, because she was going to come back and be Yeo-jong's executioner for his revenge against the man who killed his dad. So I'm hoping that we see a second season, people. I want to see that man who killed the doctor die. I really want to see him. I want to see him punished. Like, the whole way this thing was done, the whole way the revenge came to fruition, the whole way the plots, like, kind of just, the blocks just went into place step by step by step. Even things that you thought, like, oh, there's no way they can account for this girl has been thinking steps ahead. And one of the parts that really hit me the most was when she was at Soi's gravesite, and she said, our lives are on pause. Today is our 19th birthday. I was like, damn, that hit me so hard. Honestly, it brought tears to my eyes, because I was like, you literally put your life on pause for 18 years just so you can get this revenge. That blew my mind, people. I was like, damn, that was deep. I thought that this was great. I thought that everybody who got something, had it coming. I thought that they all deserved it. What they did to these students was absolutely horrendous and horrific. And I love the show. I've watched it twice already, and I know I'm gonna watch it multiple times. So South Korea is leading for me. I'm trying not to watch too much because I'm gonna just get sucked in, and I'm trying to avoid that because I gotta keep my capacity open for a lot of other stuff. But if you haven't seen The Glory, I would 100% recommend this show. This show is a 9 out of 10 for me. And if you haven't watched it, I will warn you that part 1 is very heavy. They really focus on the things that were done to these girls, the torture and the bullying, and it's intense. So if you are not ready for it, it's definitely gonna hit you like a 2x4, you know? And so, but part 2 comes around and you're like, yes, justice. Give it to them. Give it to them, you know? And let me know in the comment section what you guys thought about the whole series. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know when I post new videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!